Roll time.
Guess who's back? The man on the news says the problem is me. I'm just a small town boy with big American dreams. The world's going crazy and they're lying to us. Don't know who to believe, so in God we trust.
Real humid here, 85,
Can
90
you hear us
degrees.
now, Wanda?
Uh, there, probably 75, 80 degrees. People wear a jacket or a sweatshirt. I never seen anything like it. I thought, man, this is crazy. But I'd hate to see what it'd be like during winter. Real humid here.
Hey, now we got volume. Yeah, now we're talking. Um, yeah. Well, anyway, Matthew was telling a story about his weekend trip to Michigan that you all didn't get to hear about, where it's kind of cool. And basically, I was talking about us being in the sun and the thunderstorms rolling in behind us, but a couple of drops of rain. But Wanda says she can hear us, so if she can hear us, we're good to go. Um, there's really, I mean, and as you all saw there to open, we did the Donnie Baker tribute. So I mean, he passed away Friday. It's kind of sad. He's a comedian, but I mean, he was funny, and he'll be missed. Um, but we're going to start off with what I probably think is probably the biggest story of the week, and everybody else will probably agree. So I'm going to go ahead and just play a small glimpse of the biggest story of the week, and then we'll dive into some stories. Jason Aldean, try that in a small town. Song's been out since May, but here recently, they released the video on CMT, and I reckon it offended a bunch of people, and it was removed from CMT, and it's been uphill for that song and Mr. Aldean ever since, pretty much. A lot of people have backed him. The song has went to number one already, and it's. I mean, as you would say, I'll say it for you. And the hits just keep on coming. Cancel culture.
Once again, I'm going to say this: if you don't want to listen to something, you have the option to turn the television off. Now, the problem with this cancel culture is they tend to target things like Paw Patrol. They targeted Paw Patrol, a cartoon about police officers, because you had at one particular time all the riots going on in the United States with the Black Lives Matters activists coming out in the streets and protesting, you know, the death of an African American at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer, George Floyd. We know what happened. we know that that individual went before a jury of his peers, was found guilty, is serving his crime. No, his penalty will not bring back George Floyd's life, but a jury of his peers found him guilty of reckless behavior. Now, this goes along with what you said, cancel culture. Jason Aldean released this song in May. Uh, Not a single word was said about it up until the video was released. And once the video comes out, it's as though he is a pro-lynching, pro-racist, uh, pro-gun violence supporter. And I'm going to look at you and tell you that Jason Aldean has come out and stated that none of that is the case.
Right.
You know, he has openly spoken about his political views, that he hopes that America can return to some sense of normalcy. And when do we return to normal? You know, the activities that took place, whether you believe they were justified or unjustified, this song in no way promotes gun violence. The number one critics that are going after him are gun activists, people that are wanting to get rid of guns, saying that the video is promoting that because he talks about his grandfather having a gun. And if you come into his small town and you try to do some of the things, you know, you talk
Or you
about the
try
lyrics.
to come and take it. Yeah.
Okay, the lyrics. The first of the song says, sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjack an old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, well, act a fool if you like, cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag, light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Well, try that in a small town.
I think Jason would actually be proud of that, man. You sounded. We need to get you some music and let you.
Well, I'm no musical performer. You wouldn't want to hear me sing by any means.
Well, I would love to hear
The
you
dogs
sing
will
that.
The dogs would probably start.
Small town people come together.
Well, if you remember 25 years ago, 30 years ago, this is how much society's changed. I remember when I was a kid, I knew every person in my neighborhood by name. I went to their house. They cooked supper. If they asked you to help do, chores, mow the yard, pick up trash, you knew people. Now all of a sudden, we've become such a fast-paced society, Mike, that right now at this particular time, it's hard for a lot of people to signify knowing who their neighbors are. But in a small town, there is a close-knit camaraderie. You take a small town like West Liberty, I would hope that the activities that took place with Black Lives Matters, and I'm not saying justified or unjustified. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the lyrics of a song are just that. They're the lyrics of a song. But people are making more out of this than is necessary. According to Jason Aldean, the song itself represents an unspoken rule. For those that were raised in a small town, we all have each other's backs and we look out for each other. It's so popular right now because of the cancel culture that it's number one on iTunes and it's number two, holding at the number 2 spot on YouTube.
What's wrong with sense of community and pride in your community and not wanting people to destroy it?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that.
Well, when I heard the song, I listened to it the first time, and I said, that reminds me of something. So when I listened to it the second time, it hit me. A couple of years ago, Black Lives Matter came to Grayson, Kentucky. And if you remember what happened there, the local county, the people in the county came together, and they were in town of Grayson. They were up on top of businesses with their ARs. They were down in the streets with their guns, but they allowed them to march. But they were there.
That is your constitutional
They were there,
right.
in case if they started to tear stuff up, they were going to take their city back, their town. They was not going to allow it. So when I think of that song, I think of Grayson, Kentucky a couple of years ago in Carter County, when they all come together and, basically surrounded the entire street up there to not let anything get out of hand.
I saw the live video. They actually said, because the people that were there said, we're here to protest, to march. And they said, march, protest, but we're making sure that you don't tear a city up.
And that's justified.
Right.
I mean, you have a constitutional right to assemble. by Amendment 1. You have the right to petition the government by Amendment 1. You have the right to agree to disagree. Freedom of speech. You know, the video the video of Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town was at a courthouse where a lynching took place some time ago.
1927.
And they're trying to tie that to that. And I'm like, okay.
Almost 100 years ago.
And I'm not saying lynching is right. It's not. But what I'm going to look at you and tell you is I'd say we've all probably been somewhere where somebody has been killed. You know, you got Peddler's Gap over here in Morgan County where there was a gentleman, I want to say, as far as history is concerned, with Morgan County, where someone was publicly hanged for being a horse thief. You know, so, and I may be wrong about my history, and if I am, correct me, but what I'm telling you is because he's there doesn't mean he's supportive of pro-lynching. No, two of his members of his band, two of the members of his band wrote the song. He released the song. It's received a lot of notoriety. But there's also been people come out in support of it. Travis Tritt, I want to say Hank Williams Jr. came out, Luke Bryan. You know, the thing is, lyrics are just that. They're lyrics. You know, he's told you that small towns are close knit. And 25 years ago, everybody did have everybody's back. You know, in the neighborhood, everybody had what we call a neighborhood watch committee. Somebody broke in somebody's home, they didn't have to worry about the police coming out. They took care of it themselves. They regulated it. What's sad is, and I say this, I wish people were as passionate about regulating their government as they are about regulating those who disagree with their opinion.
Well, right here's one of them in particular. From Twitter says, I just watched and heard about 45 seconds of the Aldean video song, and it's an absolute right-wing propaganda. Try that in a small town. We take care of our own. Okay, well, the small town my wife grew up in knew of abuse and no one did anything. And then here's another one.
And if that's the case,
talking about the courthouse, from the lynching of 1927.
Well, you and I are not in support.
We could probably walk in front of our courthouse over here and it's got some type of history. It doesn't mean that, that we're over there supporting what might have happened years ago. But now here's something really disturbing. Let's find it here. This is a Snoop Dogg video, which it's hard for us to see here, but they've got a fake Donald Trump dressed up as a clown and Snoop Dogg pointing a gun toward him. You think that video was taken down? Here's this woman with Donald Trump's head cut off, Kathy Griffiths. You think that was everything was ever canceled? Absolutely not. So, but here's
I go back to what I said earlier. If you don't support it, simply just turn the what?
Turn it up.
Turn it off. Turn the channel. That don't mean you have to. Yeah, don't buy it. You don't have to be part of that. I'm gonna be honest with you. You talk about, okay, in our culture right now, it's acceptable. It's acceptable for WAP to be played, WAP to be the video to be showed, and people are okay with that. Little kids seeing that, and they're not okay with this. What I'm going to tell you is, your particular taste in music comes into play here.
Absolutely, right.
As far as rap is concerned, I don't listen to rap.
I would like to hear you rap. Okay.
But does that mean that I disagree with somebody that does? No, you're entitled to that right. You're
asking them to cancel it because you don't.
Yeah, we don't ask them to cancel it because we don't like the lyrics.
You keep listening to your rap. I'll keep turning the channel off. I got no problem with that. But it doesn't mean that I'm singling out those people and saying those people are bad because they listen to rap. I'm not saying that. Why? That's what makes this country what it is. It's called individualism. We're all unique. We all have different interests, different tastes. It bestows in music. If you don't like it, just don't participate in it. That's all you got to do.
I'm going to let everybody listen to this video of this guy comparing the two lyrics. So you're going to hear your lyrics again, and I think you did a better job than this guy. But, we're going to go ahead and listen to the comparison of these two lyrics, and you just, he'll ask, but you see which one gets canceled and which one doesn't.
All right, so Jason Aldean's newest song has been removed from CNT for the lyrics being too offensive. Here's the lyrics. Sucker punch somebody on the sidewalk, carjack an old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. Yeah, you think it's cool, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Now, those lyrics are absolutely offensive. They can't be allowed on the air. They can't be allowed on the billboard. But yet, Cardi B's WAP went #1 on the billboard. And what are the lyrics to that? Beat it up, N-word, catch a charge, extra large and extra hard, put this P-word right in your face, swipe your nose like a credit card, hop on top, I want to ride, I do a Kegel while it's inside, spit in my mouth, look at my eyes, this pee is wet, come and take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised, let's role play, I wear a disguise, I want you to park that Big Mac truck like it's in this little garage. Make it cream, make it scream, out in public, make a scene. I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you, I got this ring. Now you tell me which one of those lyrics should have been allowed and which one shouldn't. There's a narrative in this country, it's absolutely horrible, and it needs to change.
So, I mean, you know, he didn't use some of the wording from the song, but you kind of got the gist with N words and P words and stuff like that. That went to #1 on the Billboard. It's still not been canceled to this day, but a song that shows what has happened, you know, over the last few years in these cities has been canceled. So, I mean, and we won't play WAP on here because I'm like you, I turn stuff like that off. I'm going to share a funny story, you know, since I'm over on the TikTok. In your generation, there was a song called OPP. Do you know what that stands for? Sing the song. Give us the lyrics of the song. You down with what?
OPP.
So you know the song.
Yeah, you know me.
I have no idea.
That's it.
Well,
I have no idea.
Let me intervene here before you go any further. I remember straight out of Compton, NWA, and they talk about cancel culture. They came out with a song called NWA, F the Police. When they wrote that song and they performed that song, what do you think happened to crime against police officers? It went up about 300%. You think that song was ever canceled? Now, what I'm going to tell you is in certain cities, I remember in the movie Straight Outta Compton, they went to Cincinnati and they were told they were not allowed to perform that song. And what'd they do? They performed it anyway. So they violated a city ordinance. And what happened? They got arrested. It's called freedom of speech. You know, you don't have to like it. You don't have to support it. But as I said, you have the free right to say what you want to say. I listened to NWA when I was younger.
I can believe that.
I did. And like I said, that didn't
rapper.
mean that I went out and committed hideous crimes against police officers. I didn't do that.
You was a rap god.
Well, I was a rapper.
Do you know what OPP stands for?
I do not know what OPP
I didn't either till the other day.
I know the song. I just don't know.
Until somebody
that's kind of showing my age a little bit.
Someone just told me what it was the other day. I didn't know what it was, and I liked it.
People spent 30 years of their life running around singing something about OPP only to find out that it means.
Oh.
And
I didn't know that.
I'm not going to say that on the air too much because
I didn't know that.
we try to stay on the air as long as possible. Let's see.
Got it right here.
What else do we have here about Aldean? Luke Bryan, that's what we talked about. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg says the rioters being depicted in the video burning down cities were taking care of their own people in their own towns.
I thought that was disgusting.
So, Whoopi, still continuing to show, her love for the country.
And they have listen, it's not that I think the mass majority of society disagreed with their cause. It's the fact that they went into cities and they destroyed billions of dollars worth of money at the expense of who? Taxpayers. You know, I don't think people had a gripe with the cause. There's legitimate reason to be rioting if there's police brutality being expressed in this country. We need to eliminate that altogether, 100% of it. But when you're burning down buildings and you're targeting police stations and you're doing damage to public goods, it creates problems. That's where I think the negativity came. And like I said, I'm for people expressing their opinion. One of the things about being a citizen is you have certain rights and responsibilities. One of those is to express your opinion, Mike. When you don't agree with something, be vocal.
It's just nowadays all with the left, all they try to use the First Amendment third way. But if you say something, if you disagree about something, oh well, that's racist or that's xenophobic or whatever.
Well,
Come
the
on,
song
Little Cloud.
Jason Aldean, the song by Jason, Try That in a Small Town, there is not one racist lyric. One racist lyric. There's not one pro-lynching lyric. Now, it does make mention of a gun in that.
And I think that's a lot to do with it.
And it is. I mean, we have right now we have a large contingency of our population in the United States that would love to see gun violence be eliminated, and they think the solution to that is eliminate guns. Well, the purpose of allowing citizens to have guns is to keep your government from being tyrannical or oppressing
Thank you, Little Cloud.
So,
had a little cloud come over, but we keep forgetting to do this.
can you imagine
so we're going to
what
do
this country would be if the American colonists had not had access to some type of firearms when the redcoats come over here and the British government imposed taxation without representation? What would have happened?
We every week
We
we
would
continue
still
to
be at
forget
war.
about this, so I'm going to go over to the TikTok.
That's right.
Do we have any comments or anything? Do we have anything coming in from TikTok? Because I always fail to check with TikTok, forgetting that it's, I'm on YouTube and Facebook here, and that's the only two things I could see. I don't get to see, TikTok. So what we got going over there?
David wants to know, did Trump win the election?
Who's David?
I don't know. I don't.
These are just people out there.
I don't have access.
Greg Milliken says, sad part is we used to be a badass country and all those people would have been put in jail.
That's true. That's true.
And of course, David, I think he's a Biden fan. He said, what about attacking the Capitol? I think that was proven to be some people other than who they were saying it was, right?
Yeah. Well, Chris Wray, the FBI, was under congressional testimony this past week, and they asked him point blank, can you testify that there were no FBI undercover agents? And he would not give a direct answer to that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
and Trump, it was announced this week that Trump would probably face an indictment because he is the centerpiece of an investigation for the January the 6th insurrection. Jack Smith is going after him. If they arrest him, they arrest him. The hits just keep on coming.
Hits just keep on coming. Speaking of hits, the sun came back out on me, but it felt pretty good with that little cloud. But it's thundering still behind us here. We keep getting alerts, but we'll stay on the air, I guess, until the lightning hits us. So we'll keep it going. But talking about hits, I heard earlier, go back to our local talk, because we like to keep our local stuff going as much as possible. But I heard earlier, that the right to censor of West Liberty is now, saying that the city council or, city hall,
tourism committee,
whoever it is that's in charge of, bringing the bands and stuff to O'Mill Park, that they're actually got a drag queen. They're going to have a drag show. They're bringing a drag show in to have a drag show in West Liberty and going around and complaining about it. And basically the true story is it's a Kiss cover band. Kiss painted their face and stuff. Anybody that knows the band Kiss, knows they do that, and they're going around saying that they're they're bringing drag queens and stuff like that in, and I don't know. It's just it's to me it's kind of like an embarrassment to Morgan County that these tourism commission people are trying to bring stuff to this county to try for people to have to do. I mean, I talked to people last night here in the community that don't hardly ever go to anything, even Sorghum Festival, and they're tickled to death to go to this August 11th event that's coming up to see some of these bands and all this stuff. So I mean, you got people interested in doing it, but then you got like these people trying to censor everything and cancel everything that West Liberty and Morgan County tries to do, and the only thing it does is hurt the county. I mean, I don't know what makes these people think that it's not going to hurt the county by continuing to act this way. I mean, and it goes along with the Jason Aldean song. If you don't want to listen to this music, don't go to Old Mill Park. Don't take your kids there. Don't go there. Go to the lake. Go play cornhole. Go to do something. There's nothing that says you have to attend these events, and there's no reason behind trying to stop them. We're trying to get people not to want to go because of drag show, because there is no drag show. There's not a drag show coming to West Liberty, and it's just silly that anybody would even try to start something like that. I've got to wait for the motorboat here to go by, so I live right next to the road, and I have spent the entire day and not heard hardly one vehicle. And as soon as we go on the air, buddy, it's like a friggin' international airport and friggin' 7-8 lane freeway going through here constantly and nonstop. Let's see here. A follow up from last week's show, because we've told you about the number one song in America. Now, what about the number one movie? Actually, number two movie, but it's still, to fans that are supporting of it or whatever, it's still number one because it's still making money, and that is The Sound of Freedom. We talked about it last week. Sound of Freedom, last weekend alone in its second weekend, brought in over $30 million more than it made in the opening weekend, and it continues to sit in the number two slot, and it has now made over $100 million. And with a $14 million budget, it's made over $100 million. So, I mean, this movie is doing exactly what everybody would hope it would do and continuing to open people's eyes. People are still going to see it. Jim Caviezel, who, is the star of the movie, announced that the CIA will have to kill him before he stops exposing pedophile rings. Earlier this week, number 45, Mr. Donald Trump was in New Jersey. I think I've got a picture of them. Donald Trump was in New Jersey with Tim Ballard and, let's see, where's my picture? Here it is. With Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel as he watched a screening of the movie. After watching Sound of Freedom, Donald Trump announced that once he's back in office, every sex trafficker that is caught will face the death penalty. And and Sound of Freedom continues to sell out tickets, and it continues to push boundaries for a movie that wasn't supposed to go anywhere. This movie is still doing things. So I'll throw the link and stuff back up here. I mean, angel.com/freedom. If you would like to go see this movie, you can claim a free ticket from this link. You can pay it forward for other people to go see. I mean, this movie it's a really good movie. I mean, I highly recommend it. I would watch it again, and probably once it comes to streaming services, probably will air the movie at some point somewhere along the way in West Liberty for people that haven't been able to go see it. So it will air, and hopefully everybody will be able to attend that with us. I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Well, I think let me say this. I hope that people are not disillusioned by the fact that they believe that human child sex trafficking does not take place. It seems like every time we have a program, Mike, there's a period of time between the last program and the program that we have. And it seems like every time we do that, I give an announcement and tell you about busts that are occurring. This past week, police in Illinois busted a human trafficking enterprise that operated in 6 Chicago suburbs. 5 people were arrested who are accused of forcing 7 women to engage in prostitution and face repercussions. Go further. A U.S. Capitol police officer has been arrested and charged with 5 counts of child porn possession. Now, at the same time that the mainstream media, and I'm talking about MSNBC, NBC, CBS, you can go further and talk about other mainstream medias. At the same time that they are shedding a negative light on this movie, ABC senior news reporter James Gordon Meek pleaded guilty to transportation and possession of child porn in a federal child porn case. So what I'm telling you is, a lot of people are going to say that human sex trafficking is not happening. Well, you brought this to our attention last week and talked about it was a $134 billion business. Yeah,
and growing.
So my question is, for that to simply just up and evaporate, it's going to take a massive effort on the part of a task force, the police departments across the United States, as well as the Border Patrol, to ensure that this stops. It needs to stop.
Yeah, I mean, you got social media people too, but you got media sources, mainstream media sources that are out here saying that it's not real, that it's conspiracy theorists, right wing MAGA supporters, stuff like that. And like I said last week, this Tim Ballard guy, man, I mean, he's been out here doing this stuff for years, and you're saying that he's not real. That they're only doing this stuff, to get attention and everything. I mean,
they called it a pro QAnon.
Yeah, pro QAnon
film production. Well, QAnon has not been around until 2016. This guy was living this in 2013.
This guy was doing the movie, the movie shows, the raids and stuff that the movie shows was like 2012, 2013. QAnon never come around to 2016, so you can't use that. I mean, it's just a way for the media, because you mentioned ABC, a guy at ABC. So, I mean, a lot of these CNNs and a lot of these places have been firing people for child porn and everything. So, I mean, they don't want to report that it's really happening or try to get people to go watch it, because they know if they do, they're going to all be exposed. Hollywood's going to be exposed. I mean, Mel Gibson is tearing into people out there and actually saying he's going to expose everybody out there. I mean, we're all waiting to see, what happens there. But I mean, how many of them is already being washed or leaving the country? I mean, that should be a sign right there when you see them moving out of the country. That
well, you listen to stories of people that are trying to make it in Hollywood, young actors, and they tell you the autocracies that have been committed against them because they are forced to partake in sexual acts. Mark Wahlberg, he spoke out adamantly this week. Macaulay Culkin, who lived it. Corey Feldman. Rick Schroeder. You can go on and on and on. The list does not stop with those people. There are many, many more, and the problem is, I just don't think people want to give it the time that it deserves, and they want to just sweep it under the rug. It's a controversial issue already to talk about, and it's almost like everybody just wants to say, "Hey, we don't want anything to do with that. We want that just to go away." Well, it's not going to go away if it's a $134 billion industry overnight, unless everybody supports it. Why? Because no one humanly most people would not want a child to be hurt.
Well, you would think so.
Let's leave it at
that. What do we got going over there?
They said, Ryan, that you guys are from the suburbs. I said, no, we're a small town.
Suburbs? Hey, does that look like the suburbs? So, what do you think the population of Cannon City is? 20? Maybe 50?
Someone else is saying that one of Tim Ballard's guys got busted for sexual abuse of a minor. It doesn't negate what Tim Ballard's done. regardless.
No, I'm not.
It's the same way. If you have one bad cop, it doesn't make
Yeah.
all cops bad. If
I
you
agree
have
with
one
that.
bad social worker doesn't make all social workers bad. That's the problem.
No, I mean it's to me. I think it's a must see. Got a few notes I want to run through here that we had last week. Since Elon Musk took over Twitter, exposing pedophiles, pedophiles have started going viral. Under the old regime, anyone who called out a pedophile got banned immediately. This is not a coincidence. Big tech is in on it. So, all of a sudden, Musk comes in and he starts supporting this stuff. Let's see. I'm just trying to go over some of this stuff that I had from last week. Melania Trump, Donald Trump's wife. I think I've still got the picture of her on here in a dress. She caught a lot of heat, and people was making fun of her for wearing this dress. Do I still have it right here? And she had this dress on because people said she was wearing something with scribbles on it. But what it is looked like someone had scribbled on her dress with a marker. So ironic, the dress was drawn by victims of a far left pedophile. Really appreciate the first lady speaking out loudly on sexual abuse. So basically, it was survivors of pedophile rings and sexual human trafficking of children. They drawed that on that dress, and she wore it. Showing her support. And then you got people out here complaining, making fun of her dress and everything like that. I don't know what the heck that is. Ain't no telling what I clicked on. I can't hardly see anything with this sun glare. But if you believe in this stuff and that's whatever, I mean, float your boat. But I mean, all I could say, if you're doing it, hopefully eventually you'll be caught and be brought to justice and locked away for a long time or dealt with at the train station or whatever it is that needs to be done with you, because you're a sick individual if you support this. And I wrote down right here, and this is definitely going to get a reaction over on the TikTok. And I put, if you vote Democrat, you are either a pedophile or you support pedophiles. And I stand behind that firmly. So I'll be waiting for a reaction from the TikTok. And if there's anybody, I always tell myself, the people that watch us, on these platforms, that there's probably somebody out there that's a Democrat or a liberal that just don't ever speak up because they ain't got the nerve to do it. So if there's anybody on here that wants to argue that or talk about it, I mean, let's hear it. I'm right here, Matthew's right here, and one of us will have something to say. Been going for what, almost 2.5 years now on here, me and you have. We've had one guy, still to this day, had one guy have the balls to stand up and come on here. And he's been on here twice, and he will be back again this year. So I mean, he's only been one time that someone didn't agree with us that's come on, and we've had him on twice, and we really enjoy having him on. It's a little wild, but he did exactly what we've said here and stared into the camera and asked. Here's
a guy, Rough Texan Cowboys, his TikTok name. He says, "I'm a Democrat and I don't support it. We don't support it."
Well, there are. Well, I should have put liberals is what I probably should have put, and not Democrats, because there's a lot of registered Democrats that I call conservative Democrats. That believe Robert Kennedy. I think that's what Robert Kennedy Jr. is that his name. I believe that's what he is. He's more of a conservative Democrat. He has more beliefs toward the right way of life than what the far left liberals and stuff do. So I mean,
well, he's a good example. He's a good example of kind of what we go back to with Jason Aldean, cancel culture. All right, he announces his presidency, does Robert Francis Kennedy Jr., and all of a sudden there are immediately attacks against him that he is an anti-vaxxer. He came out in a congressional testimony this week that said he has his up-to-date vaccines, with the exception of COVID. He's got every vaccine, and he has taken the flu shot for the last 10 to 12 years. So he's not an anti-vaxxer, but there are contingents of the population that want to make him sound like he's an anti-vaxxer to try to condemn him as an extremist and keep him from being elected president. I think the man would be a good president. I think he's got a lot of good views. I think he's brought a lot of good things out to the attention of the mass media, as well as the population of people. You know,
It's true bipartisan, like it.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm not against Democrats. I want people to know that. You know, I have a lot of friends that are Democrats, but
There you go.
you know, there's things that, as I said, there's things that I adamantly think could be better in this country. But some people would say they're okay, they're sufficient. We're okay to agree to disagree. And that's the one thing I respect Gary Johnson for.
Yeah.
Because Gary came on
Gary
here,
comes
he
on
spoke
here.
his mind freely. Nobody condemned him for that. He was prepared. He had good rational evidence to back up what he stated. And I've not got a problem with that. A good debate is a good, healthy thing.
So one of them said, "Why won't we talk about the connection between Trump and Epstein?"
Well, me and you had that discussion last night.
So won't you enlighten?
You know, we had the same discussion last night because every time you talk pedophilia, because there's a few pictures of Donald Trump. Donald Trump and Epstein are billionaires. You know, they have been seen together over the years and everything. So I'll look over here to you, and Matthew will clear you in. If Donald Trump was on that client list from being on Epstein's island, what would happen?
Everybody in America would
already know it because that client list would be released and not be
Well, my
in the
question
public
is,
right now
my
if Donald
question
Trump
is,
was on that list.
I have one question. If Ghislaine Maxwell was the madam to Jeffrey Epstein, and she sex trafficked young girls to elites, that list has yet to come out. Right now, she sex trafficked children, young girls, to nobody. And yet she was found guilty and faced a penalty of 77 years in prison. Thus, they gave her a reduction. I think she's only got like 20 years in prison.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we had that same discussion just yesterday evening. You know, people always wanting to bring up Epstein and Trump. It's like, they're billionaires. Yeah, they've probably been at the same meetings before. They've probably been, you know, in the same things before. But I believe if Donald Trump was on Epstein's island and his name was on that list, he'd be eating it up.
So one guy here is saying Trump's on the flight logs, but I've never seen Trump's name on any of the flight logs I've seen.
He would have already been impeached 10 times over for that one.
Yeah, they would have already. They would have used that to turn conservatives against him.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He did. I think maybe Trump didn't know until he found out. But correct me if I'm wrong. He did ban Epstein from ever setting foot in Mar-a-Lago. Right or wrong?
That is true. That was in 2004 that he banned him.
I know it was way back.
Early 2000s. He was at Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House during the Clinton administration 17 times. 17 times. Am I saying there's a direct correlation between the two? No. Maybe they were in the same circle with one another.
Well, like I said, I was never friends. I ain't a billionaire by no means. So, you know, I don't hang with Donald Trump. I never was around any of those guys. So I don't know if he was there or not. But I know right now if Donald Trump shits or he sneezes and a snot flies out of his nose, it is blasted on every news media, that one included, TikTok, it is everywhere. If Donald Trump's kids was drug heads and they were doing cocaine and everything that's going on right now with Hunter Biden, they'd be all over the news right now if it was the Trump kids. So that's what I'm saying.
So Jeff Thomas said whenever Trump found out Epstein targeted a young girl at Mar-a-Lago, he kicked him out.
Well, that's what we've heard too. You know, and not to say that's true or not because I don't know, but that's what I've heard too. So, and a lot of the Hollywood elites were buddies, and some of them has distanced themselves from some of the other ones. Movie stars, musicians, you know, used to be Kid Rock was big with everybody. You know, Kid Rock, you know, being the way he is now, you know, more right-sided, more whatever. People don't hang with him as much as they used to. So, I mean,
To add to that, back in the day, Matthew could add, you know, he could tell you one way or the other, but Trump and Oprah Winfrey used to be tight.
big time.
And then what happened there? You
I
find
think
out
it's
what.
funny that they concentrate so much on Trump. And
Put that on.
let's talk about Biden, our current president. I mean,
Put it
we're
on.
still attacking Trump after 3 years of him being out.
This won't be able to be shown. Well, I guess I could take it to Deborah, but this wouldn't be able to be shown.
This is a photo It's a photo of Donald Trump.
Oh, it went off.
Donald Trump. Okay. Can you see that? Can you see that photograph?
Yeah, it's, oh, hell.
What did you do, fella?
I keep tearing it up, but we're trying to get you the photo here.
There's your photo. People are making a lot of this photograph. It's a photo of Donald Trump and one Jeffrey Epstein with two young females. Well, let me say something. I'm going to say something. If you're going to Photoshop a photograph, at least put legs on Jeffrey Epstein. If you're going to Photoshop.
Yeah.
I've got the photo if you want to
wanna-
see it. If you're going to Photoshop, at least put legs on the man and don't use a girl with a 30-foot arm. Now, I'm not going to say that they weren't in the same circles. Why? Because they're entrepreneurs. They're financially minded people trying to make money. So, well, it's a funny thing that people can say, well, Jeffrey Epstein, this didn't happen, and there's no ties and all this. Well, J.P. Morgan Chase is paying $290 million in a lawsuit to people. Folks, there were some bad things that went on. Now, here's what I say. This is me as a bipartisan political individual. Let's see the black log list, all names, and prosecute every single one of them. And if Donald Trump's on there, guess what? Donald Trump needs to go to jail.
I have sat
Every
right here and
single
looked at
one
that
of them.
camera, and I'll look at that one now and say that if Donald Trump's on that list, I'll come right back on this event the next week, and I'll say Donald Trump deserves to sit in any prison cell that any of the rest of them are in. He needs to go just as much as the rest of them do.
So someone said Biden isn't under a federal case for espionage.
He is or isn't?
He is not. They're saying
Should be for treason and
he's
10
done
times
more
over
to
everything
hurt
else.
the country and been tied with Ukraine and.
Well, here's the funny thing.
Well,
the
I will say this. An important document was released to the public this week. It was called FD 1023, which ties Biden and Hunter Biden to a foreign national that they made an exclusive deal with in exchange for political favors. The money amount that has come out with this FD 1023 form, and it was released by one Senator Chuck Grassley. You can look that up and see if I'm correct. He released it to the public. That ties him to a Russian executive of Burisma, $5 million. However, a representative named Andy Biggs says 10 million may not even be it. It may be 20, it may be 30, it may be in excess of $100 million.
Well, all of you people over here, that's, Biden lovers. LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, who visited Epstein's Island, just dropped $699,600 backing Biden's re-election bid. Huh. So there you go. That guy who visited the island, as already confirmed, is actually putting almost $700,000 in Biden's re-election bid. So there you go. You really want me to get them fired up over there? Here's something really fun. I know you guys,
don't have to.
I know you guys love Russia. You liberals love Russia. The Russian parliament just banned transgenders from adopting children and being legal guardians of minors. Thank you, Russia. If we had a friggin' leader that would do the same thing in this country, we would be a lot better. A transgender porn star known as Heidi Forks has been detained in Moscow, which is in Russia, and on suspicion of producing and distributing illegal LGBT pornographic content among minors. So, supposedly the most dangerous country in the world, Russia, is over here, and their man is putting a stop to all the trans stupidity and all the child pornography and everything going on. But our guy's over here sniffing people, over here sniffing little girls and loving everything about them.
Well, this let me say this: the House Oversight Committees and Judiciary Committee, they're going after all of this corruption, so-called tied to the Biden enterprise. It's not one Biden; it was 9 Bidens. There were 9 family members that received money.
Actually, and people can look look that up. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually came out, who is a congresswoman, came out and spoke about that. So that has been presented to Congress during the impeachment of Biden, correct? Because Biden's been. So they said Trump loves the poorly educated, especially white males and women, because they are easily manipulated.
Okay, I want to add something to that. Matthew might back me up on this. If Donald Trump had stayed a Democrat, he was tight with Oprah Winfrey, if he would have run for president then and named her as his baby running mate, would we be having all this controversy with your mainstream media and everything else hating on him every day?
No, wouldn't have a problem.
No,
Eating it up.
She's supposed to move out of the country.
Yeah, they was a lot of them supposed to move out of the country.
Even Whoopi Goldberg would have been supporting that one.
Don't I have a picture of Whoopi?
Well, I will say this.
I thought I
These
had a picture of her.
congressional-
There she is.
The congressional testimony, Mike, that has taken place over the last 3 weeks, these whistleblowers are coming forth and they're giving information. A lot of people don't want to believe it. Why? They don't want to believe that the president of the United States could be involved in a corruption scheme. I hope for his sake he's not involved in it. But I can tell you, if he, the father, is anything like the son, then there's some bad things going on.
Well, I mean, you don't sniff children for no reason. I mean, you're not out here like rubbing all over children, sniffing all over children for no reason. So,
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene this week, under congressional testimony, brought in photographs of one Hunter Biden,
yeah, there were some lovely ones too. I don't have any of them.
who has committed tax fraud.
Well, I do, but I ain't saying.
He enlisted the service of prostitutes, took them across state lines, which is a violation of the Mann Act. You can look that up. Took them across state lines, then turned around and tried to use his company to write it off as a tax write-off at the expense of who? Taxpayers. Thus, he is under watch for tax fraud.
You got some notes on it, don't you?
I've got plenty of notes if they want to hear. The IRS is investigating Hunter Biden for this tax fraud. They were investigating until Merrick Garland and the Biden Department of Justice blocked them from prosecuting. Well, now all of a sudden these House oversight committees are finding out that this evidence is out there. FD 1023, look it up. Chuck Grassley revealed it to the public this week. It's there. You don't have to listen. You don't have to take the word of a small town Trump-loving individual, as they said. Just go look it up for yourself and see if it's there. It's all you got to do.
Well, I mean,
And like I said, we're presenting information that a lot of people are not getting because the mainstream media doesn't divulge it to you. If they don't tell you, then most people probably don't even know what's going on. So,
well, you were talking about Hunter Biden. I mean, so I'm sure you've probably heard about Joseph Ziegler, which testified that Biden and his family have gifters of $17.3 million from Ukraine, Romania, and China. Here's the funny thing. What did you say his name was? Ziegler?
Ziegler?
Here's the funny thing about him. He is a gay registered Democrat and came out as a whistleblower against the Biden family, which is supposed to be, their big thing. But, this guy has come out and actually said that he believes that Biden should be charged, Hunter Biden, should be charged with that and stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of people even on their own side that's fed up with this
Well,
stuff.
let's say this, and this is a truly bipartisan statement. If Trump and his family were involved in illegal, corrupt activity and gave political favors to a foreign national in order to enhance their monetary means, he deserves to go to jail. That is treason.
So here's the difference, I think, between...
And I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican.
These people want to battle Republican and Democrat. I will be the first to tell you, I don't like the Bush family. I think Bush is corrupt.
I don't like Mitch McConnell.
I don't like Mitch McConnell. They're Republicans. I don't like Lindsey Graham. He's a Republican. I think that we can.
Well,
sit
I
down
Mitt
don't.
at the
Romney.
table
I
and
don't
say,
think it's an
So
issue, Deborah. It shouldn't be an issue of Democrat versus Republican. It should be an issue of what is best for the taxpayers and the citizens of the United States of America. That's what's best for us. You
what
know.
did you see what they're doing with Donald Trump? Judge Eileen Cannon has set Donald Trump's classified document trial date for May 20th of 2024, less than 6 months before the 2024 election. The justice system meddled. Here we go, YouTube. In 2020, they're going to do it again in 2024. I mean, seriously, why would you set a trial for May 20th? I think that's pretty close to the primary, ain't it? Right around close to the primary. So, I mean,
Well,
it's just kind of ironic that happens too. But I mean, I don't know. Let's see here. While Matthew's all fired up for just a second, I'm gonna let him cool down as the sun continues out of his eyes, and I'm gonna.
no, I just think there's. Let me say this. I just think it's almost like there's a two-tiered system of justice in this country. I can do something, and I can be thrown under the jailhouse for doing it, but it's okay for somebody else to do it because they're over here on this side of the political aisle opposite of me. No, it doesn't make it fair. It should be equal justice for all. Everybody should be treated the same under the eyes of the law. That's what this country was built on. That's the foundation of our rights and responsibilities as citizens.
Like I said, I mean, we've got Matthew fired up. We still got about an hour or
I'm
so
not
to
fired
go
up.
here.
I'm just here.
You know, things are going to get better because I've got more videos. I know Wanda's watching right now, and she loves it when I play videos. I do not have a Dancing Matthew video. I do have to, let everybody know that he went and performed in Detroit this past weekend in his Zelensky outfit from last week.
So let me ask this question, Mike. Let me ask you this, and this is posed to people out there that are listening.
Well, this bunch over here
okay,
is different.
and I'm posing. Okay, would you vote for a Democrat if you felt they were the best candidate for the position?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Because
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to ask this question. Okay. One of our greatest, or probably our single most important civic duty is to vote in elections. Okay. I can look at you and tell you, I probably voted for more Democrats for president than I have Republicans.
Oh, absolutely.
So these people are going to say, well, we're all one-sided here. We're not. Listen, I'm about what is best for the country, what is best for the local community, what is best for the state. Because one of your civic responsibilities is to let your voice be heard. That doesn't have to mean that everybody has to agree with it. Hey, it's okay for them people to disagree with what we're saying. I got no problem with that. But what I'm gonna look at you and tell you is, don't chastise me. Don't criticize me because I believe differently from you. I'm not criticizing you for having your political beliefs. Well, it is what it is.
That's just the problem with that other party is they believe if you don't believe the way they do, that you're awful. You're an awful person. You deserve to be
I told
burnt
you
alive,
earlier.
basically.
I felt like Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. was a great candidate for president. They don't want him running for president. Why do they not want him running for president? I can tell you why. Because they're fearful that he will take votes away from the incumbent, Joe Biden, and he may win the Democratic nominee for president. Well, hold up. They've also mentioned that the Democratic Party has announced that they're not having any debates. Why are you not having any debates? Democrats need to know who the best candidate is to represent their party. Well, if he can't do a debate, then he shouldn't be on the ballot then. Why?
Yeah.
Because people need to know your political platform and what you stand for. I don't care who it is. They need to know.
Red's gonna get you before the sun comes up, buddy. Oh, Red's on the run right now. Biden isn't a traitor?
Is not a traitor.
Biden isn't a traitor. No, he ain't just give billions of dollars to a freaking country while this country's sitting here suffering. I don't understand that. I mean,
he admitted quid pro quo. before he even got presidency.
has set to announce another $1.3 billion in weapons to Ukraine, and that is still set to come. So, I mean, it's billions here, billions there. That's a traitor. A real American president should be taking care of America, American first. If you wanted to help another country, put this country first and then help all the other ones later.
Well, here's my concern about that. Okay. All this spending that Washington keeps undertaking, reckless spending, I'm not saying the cause of Ukraine is not a good cause. The only problem is it's going to come at a great cost to who? The people here in this
Well,
country.
why do you think we've got inflation? Why do you
Now,
think everything's
let me say this. The hits just keep on going.
That's in the suburbs, baby, where we live at. So
The United States will pay more in interest in the next 10 years than we did in the previous 83 years because of all the amount of money that is being appropriated for one thing and another.
I wish there was a way we could pull the comments up from TikTok. I had it
They're calling
connected.
you guys fascists.
I'm not
They're
fascist.
poorly educated and everything else.
Poorly educated. This guy's got a fucking teaching degree.
Hey,
This is a damn history teacher who just left friggin' being an assistant principal at a high school. I'm pretty sure he's not smart.
Your parents are brother and sister.
Huh?
Like that. Your parents are brother and sister.
Well, hell yeah,
do
man.
you think, okay,
But,
let me ask this
you
economic
gay
question.
bastards.
Do you think running
Sorry, guys.
$32 trillion in debt does not have consequences? $32 trillion.
I'm gonna bring Gary on here and let him loose on this.
Okay.
Bunch, so.
That's $652 billion in interest payments on the debt, and then another $877 billion in defense spending. Let me say something. We're spending all this money at a great cost because here's the thing: taxpayers now, their kids, their grandkids, their grandkids, generations will be paying off that debt. Now, am I going to say that Donald Trump didn't spend money? He did. But over the last 3.5 years, we have spent money pretty frivolously, recklessly. Washington has appropriated money for everything. And the problem is, we've already got soaring inflation, the highest it's ever been, 9.1%. And the cost of economic goods has went out the roof. $400 will not buy what $400 bought 4 years ago.
No, that's
So someone said Republicans are responsible for 85% of the national debt.
okay.
I don't know where they're getting their facts.
Yeah, like I said, Gary is, the only guy that's ever had the balls to come on our show. So I'm about to give this bunch my phone number and let them call in because I'd love to. I would love to hear them call in and talk to us because obviously.
Well, let me reply to that.
But honestly, I believe Gary would come on here and cuss at these people because hell, I believe he thinks they're even crazy himself.
Well, let me.
Biden's an
Okay, let me respond to that. I'm not going to say that Republicans are not probably in part to blame for some of the national debt, but what I am going to look at you and tell you is, from a government economic standpoint, we ought to be trying to reduce spending across the board so that we can get back to the point where we have a balanced budget and people can have something. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I'm not saying it's just Democrats. I'm saying it's both. It's both. You look at those initiatives, I guarantee you Mitch McConnell supports them. I guarantee you Mitch McConnell is 100% behind spending billions and billions and billions of dollars in. You daggone right.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that they're not. But when you got a dumbass in office that's sending billions of dollars to a country right now that don't friggin' need it, when you got people struggling right here in this country, which I've got a video I want to play, but all the socialist friggin' liberals over here on TikTok, here's this video, they're going to go nuts. They had the law here, CNN will be here by morning, which might be a good thing, but...
Well, they're suffering, Mike. They're suffering on the part of Americans across the country. You go in these inner cities, people living in tents. There should be
here in the suburbs. We're in the suburbs of what? We're in Cannell City. Camel
Katie.
City, Kentucky. You know, if you would like to come and visit us sometime,
Katie,
you know, yeah, I guess
suburbs of Katie.
Caney or Adel. You know, I guess we're in the suburbs here. You know, we've got a whole 100
Somebody
people.
said Biden's our daddy. Biden is not our daddy.
He might be your daddy, but he ain't our daddy.
Here's the thing: is that we can sit here and say Republicans.
I'm getting a
that
kick out of this TikTok. I wish we just go with them more often.
We can admit there are Republicans who do corrupt things for the country as well as Democrats. My problem is that the other side, when you talk to them, they just want to talk about Republicans. They don't want to talk about everyone else who's doing bad for the country. There's people making bad choices on both sides.
Oh, I agree 100%.
But why can't we all agree to talk about that instead of trying to split it party-wise and just back your party because you're either hardcore Democrat or hardcore Republican?
We need to ask the liberals if they agree with us, and when it comes to should be term limits.
Should
No.
there be term limits?
Yes.
That's
Should
a
be
very
term
good
limits.
question.
Before we move on, I wish to goodness the last 2 weeks we would have
Oh my
been.
gosh, someone said Gavin Newsom will be the next president.
I expect Gavin
Write
Newsom
that
to.
down.
Well,
I
I did.
expect Gavin Newsom to
I
actually announce any
okay,
time now.
okay.
Sadly,
I
but,
did see today on a program
but if
that
he is, we'll be
stated-
out here shitting in the streets like California, so we'll have it
that
made.
stated that possibly Gavin Newsom could win the Democratic nominee for president, and him and Trump would run against each other. I did see that, so I'm not going to say they're probably not right, but
So you're telling me you would like to shit in the streets?
no, I didn't say that.
You
I
know,
didn't say that.
'cause-
I said he could possibly win the Democratic nomination, but if you don't have debates,
If you don't have debates, I
Hey,
don't even know what you're trying to do.
that's basically eliminating your opposition down to one person. You know, are you going to allow Joe Biden to win the Democratic nomination without debating against Gavin Newsom or any other Democrats?
Joe Biden don't. The reason Joe Biden won't debate is he can't. You know, hell, he can't. I'm actually going to play a video of Biden here in a minute, which these guys will love it, and gals or whoever it is. You know, they're going to love it because he's talking about taking people's guns away, and then the crowd, you know, lets him know about it. But well, hell with it. I'll play it for you now. You know, let's go ahead. This is Biden during a speech just the other day. Yesterday, I believe, maybe Friday. He's talking about taking people's guns, and this is what the crowd had to say.
Prove that despite the naysayers, we can make meaningful progress on dealing with gun violence. Because make no mistake, sit down, you'll hear what I have to say. You think you? Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden!
I mean, it's supposed to be "Let's go, Brandon," but you know that bunch, I guess, was actually saying the real thing. You know, they was just letting their voices be heard. I mean, just like Jason Aldean says in his song, you know, if you think you're going to come into the small towns, not the suburbs or whatever you all called us earlier, you know, when you're going to take people's guns, you got another thing coming. I've got a guy sitting right here in my audience right now that's probably got more guns than the National Guard Armory in Jackson does, and so and that's no joke.
Hey,
And he buys a new one every week, so it's like
he's welcome to come take my AR-14.
yeah. I mean, I would like to see that. I walked in and opened the door, and a gun fell out at his house. So I mean, you know, they're hidden everywhere over there. If you don't watch where you step, you'll have to blow a leg off. So just kidding. You all more than welcome to go see Mark, especially some of you guys. I'd love to see you all try to. I mean, not Mark, Jorge. You know, we can't be giving names out on people
Everybody's
here.
saying Jason Aldean for president. I think that goes to show you that they're talking as if we're a small minority that's had it.
Silent majority.
Don't want
There's
none of these
silent majority.
illegals.
Why is Jason Aldean's song making such headway? Why is Sound of Freedom making the money that it's making and selling out at the box office? And it's because the silent majority is tired of all this. We're tired of telling people saying they're offended by everything. There's a lot of things that offend me, but I don't go around telling people every day that they offend me. I walk away. Don't listen to it. Don't.
They didn't grow up in my house because when I was young, if I said something that publicly offended somebody, my mother put me in my place.
I have met your mom a few times, and she's put me in my place.
Yeah. And, you know,
she may be watching, so I got to watch what I say.
And like I said, I'm better for it. I'm better for it because I learned to respect people and have the ability to have a conversation where I allow them to say what they're going to say without judging them. And that doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but I let them, in a respectful manner, say what they got to say.
Yeah, I mean it's
We respect everybody. You know, I'm not against anybody,
right.
but I just feel like this country, if something is not done fast, we're heading down the wrong path. Okay, we talked about Ukraine. We're sending over their cluster munitions to use. This past week, a cluster munition was used to kill, I want to say, a Russian reporter. So, okay, are we definitively using them to target the right people?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought cluster bombs were supposed to be against the Geneva Convention.
That is. So, you know, and by giving them cluster munitions, it's almost like we're trying to push Russia to the brink of World War III. I don't want to go to World War III because I know the consequences of a world war. 10 million people died in World War I. 55 million people died
According
in
to these
World
people,
War
you
II.
don't know your history.
Well,
You
55 million people died in World War II. The next one be catastrophic. There'll be a lot of innocent young men and women die when it can all be settled if you could just get them in a room and you could just talk some sense into these people.
Did you like how I took up for you there when they said you didn't know your history?
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
We
That
are
don't-
sending stuff to Ukraine to advance our interests. What interest?
What interest do
What
we have
interest?
over there?
What do we have
Okay.
to do over there besides hunters screwing children? I mean, what's going on? I mean, what are you doing? Trying to make their pockets richer?
And I'm not, listen, I'm all for trying to implement military support to help humanitarian efforts and save lives. But why can't we get into a room where we have Vladimir Zelensky, Vladimir Putin, leaders sit down and mediate this and get it resolved so we can eliminate the loss of life? That should be what it's about.
Yeah, it's just wild. Sometimes I wish I would have never asked for the responses from over there on TikTok because now it's got us all fired up. So I'm gonna take a quick little.
You
breather.
are fired up.
Oh, I love it.
Calm as a cucumber.
All my regular viewers are sitting here right now saying, "Lord, he's going the hell off," you know, and it sounds like he's yelling at us, but I'm actually looking this way. It's like I'm not looking at you because the other camera's over here. But while I'm going to take a quick breath here real fast.
Your comment was we're spending a lot of money to increase our political interest there. Well, we have interests here at home too. We have veterans.
We're not being taken care
Yeah, we have veterans. We have a lot of homeless people. We have a lot of people, like I said, in Nancy Pelosi's district, in Gavin Newsom's state. Go to California.
Yeah.
Go to those inner cities.
Go out there and
it's sad because those people deserve better. They do deserve better. And anybody that disagrees with that is not is not rationally thinking about that.
Matthew, your history. So this guy says, El Ponto says, the sitting president does not participate in the primary debate. Learn history. Didn't Trump?
He did.
I'm gonna run you. Okay.
Well, I've never heard that one before, and I've studied, all kinds of different history over the years. But good job, El Ponco, or whatever.
Well, here's what I would say. Here's my response to that. Typically, the sitting president has an approval rating that would ensure that he would be the nominee for his political party. This man has an approval rating of 33%. His vice president has an approval rating of even less than that or lower than that. And it all deals with economics. So all you got to do is look at what they've done for the average, ordinary, middle-class citizen. They basically waged a war against the middle class.
Next week we will only be live on TikTok. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have enough followers. On TikTok, so that's why if I actually had enough followers to go live, I'd have a second camera sitting right there with it. So we're over on that one. So I wish some of these people.
68 comments coming in at a time.
Yeah, I know. I flipped over there a minute ago, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. But while I'm gonna take a breather real fast, I'm gonna talk.
Red states are leeches off blue states.
That's
what Snoop 3.
I've had the job, Snoop. Represent, baby. No, I've had some people talk about this. The link that is tagged in my comments here that's actually pinned, and I want to give a shout out to my friends down in Harlan, Kentucky, Southern Roots Outlet. They're in Harlan, Kentucky. My friends down there in Harlan, they've got a Facebook page that they run as a side business, and they asked me if I would put the link up there. The link was so daggone long that I couldn't actually make the link go onto the screen, so I had to tag it down there. So if anybody would be interested in checking out their online store, you just click that link there and go on. And then I was also told that right now there is a sale going on there, and if you use the promo code Welcome Back 10, you'll receive 10% off right now. So I wanted to give them a plug. I know that they're watching right now because I've been getting messages from them and everything. No, they did not pay me. I get that all the time. Oh, people pays you in Perry to say that stuff. Yeah. Well, I will report right now then, since I brought it up. Last year, just on this show alone, I made a little under 100 grand. You made about 60 grand. So, I mean, we killed it last year bringing in profits, So, I mean, we're getting paid big money. I mean, actually, for the first time this year, we ain't going to be sitting in the dark here in a minute because I've got lights rigged up. Hopefully they work.
And the hits just keep on coming.
Highest crime in red states.
Highest crime in red
That's what
states.
357.
We're in a red state here in Kentucky, and there ain't hardly no crime whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that Illinois is not a red state where Chicago is, and I mean
New York City.
New York City is not a red. New York State's not a red state. So
Hector says 8 of 10 core states are red states. New York and California taxpayers subsidize them. These people.
damn. Oh, anyway, though, Thomas, I do appreciate you guys, and like I said, I will get more of that shared out. That link was so daggone big. I was going to put it up on the screen there, but I couldn't do it. So I've got it tagged in the comments there for you guys.
I will respond to that. I want to say the number one most dangerous state. They listed the top 5. Number 1 on the list was the state of Louisiana. Louisiana.
Figured maybe Michigan and Illinois would be on there too.
Is that why you went to Michigan? See how the violence was?
No, I went up there to see. What it was like to be on the Great Lakes. It's beautiful.
I ain't never been up there.
It's nice.
California's economy is great. That's funny because there's a lot of Californians moving here because of their economy.
California's economy is so great that a friend of mine drove through Los Angeles and seen more people shitting on the sidewalk than anywhere besides the public bathrooms. So that must be a hellacious booming economy out there. I mean, and I heard that San Francisco is the same way. It's pretty bad with homeless and stuff living on the streets.
Yeah, if they're doing so great, why are they not putting their homeless up in somewhere instead of on the streets using the bathrooms on the sidewalks? Also, their business owners suffer greatly and have left there because you can steal $999 from people and not be.
Well, there you go, man. The business is booming out there. You could steal $1,000 worth of stuff and don't even get charged with it.
I want to say multiple Walgreens closed their doors because the local attorneys, the local district attorneys, would not prosecute because it was under $1,000. So you go in and you lose $1,000 or $999 worth of merchandise repetitively, and there's nothing you can do to these people. It's sad, extremely sad.
Yeah, I'm really going to piss them off now. So, I mentioned, and Thomas thanked me there in the comments, Southern Roots Outlet down in Harlan there. So, I mean, the link's in the comments. But I'm also going to mention, especially for my TikTok viewers, my sponsor of this show. And that is Outback Guns and More, which is a local gun store here in West Liberty at 310 West Main Street in West Liberty, Kentucky, with the phone number. I'll actually put it up here for you. It'll be 606-743-1414. You could call right now, order any gun you want. You could get as many guns as you want, and by God, I promise you, you will not be treated too bad there. You might get a little talking to if you go in and disrespect the owner. But besides that, I mean, I wanted to plug the sponsor of the show. She was able, not just she, the family business, they was able to pay me about $100,000 last year, and Matthew got about 60 from them. So, if I can pick up a couple of more sponsors, I'd like to maybe get in the $1 million range, for us to sit here and talk shit with people. So, I mean, that sounds pretty good to me, don't you?
I like easy money.
I mean, that's serious though. I've actually had people say people pay you all to say the things you say, and you all get paid to sit there and bring up all that crap.
Mitch McConnell loves you, know. He doesn't love us.
Mitch McConnell hates everything about the state of Kentucky.
I'm not sure he likes himself.
I will promise you this: Mitch McConnell is a joke. And I agree with you. I mean, I don't like Mitch McConnell myself, but
It probably wouldn't be hard to beat Mitch McConnell if you run a candidate that you know something about other than, I'm a mom and I'm a fighter pilot.
Oh, Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy. We know what she was. She ran 2 different campaigns, and it was the same picture, same videos. So we learned about her all too well. I actually had heard. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but there is a possible Matthew Perry Wanda Davis campaign coming. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to be for governor or president. Which one you all are going to pull for yet. Yeah, we'll see.
Probably governor.
Wanda would be feisty.
She would be lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant Governor Wanda. I mean, that'd be awesome. Let's see what else we got here. Boy, we need to piss some liberals off. I don't really want to do too much till Mark. Never mind. I was going to say I don't want to do too much pissing of liberals off until I get Mark back here, but he's back. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. I will warn my real viewers, that this has some language in it that might not be too appropriate for everybody. Some people may not like to hear it. It does have some bad language and some wordage in it. It's not that I support anything or anything that I don't support. It's just I like the fact of what this man was saying. You guys won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it. It is a black gentleman, so I'll tell you. And he was asked in a gas station what he thought about the country right now. And, well, basically, I'm going to let him tell you. So if you guys hear anything over there, my address is 6191 Campton, Kentucky. So you'll be able to find me there. If you decide to send CNN to the house, I live on Campton on the Mountain Parkway side down near Powell County. So if you want to try to find me there, but I'm going to go ahead and they're shooting, boys. We got to go. But I'm going to play this video of this guy. And like I said, it does have some language in it, but I want everybody to hear what this guy says when he's asked about the economy and everything going on in the country. So here you go.
Man, you'll be surprised to hear this shit from a minority, a nigga like me. We fucking with Trump.
We need him back.
We need him back. Biden ain't do shit for us, but brought us down. More debt, more budget, and he's a bitch-ass nigga. We over here fucked up. He's sending all that money to Ukraine. I don't give a fuck. They went to war, fucking it up for us. Give us some money. Billions, all this shit. We got homeless vet over here sleeping outside, but he's sending all that motherfucking money overseas. Fuck you, Biden.
I would love to have this guy on the show. I don't know what city he lives in. I need to find this guy. I would love to have him come on the show. I think he would fit right in, and you guys would love him too, because I'd have him sitting right on the TikTok side of the camera. And like I said, I mean, but now this guy, was approached in the gas station, was asked, what he thought. And he basically said it. I probably didn't get the response that some people thought that he would give them. But I mean, he said it exactly like it was. And he told his about like most American people feel right now, no matter what color, minority, majority, white, black, orange, blue, purple, no matter what color you are, this guy is representing what most of us think right now. Just like the people in the video a minute ago telling Biden what they thought about him. Let's go, Brandon. So, I mean, it's just, people are tired of it. People are tired of all the aggravation. I'm hoping that we're done with TikTok, but I say so. We are sadly over with TikTok. So now everybody needs to come on here. TikTok has died. I know them liberals are looking for me in Campton, but oh man, that's wild.
I don't know if someone got me restricted. My phone did not die. I'm restricted.
We got to comment and report live.
I just well, I mean, that's the problem. I mean, they talk about all this stuff, and I wanted to hear what people were saying. Different people over on TikTok, and everybody over there was calling us names and all kinds of different stuff, and it was just crazy. I mean, the TikTok actually just got restricted because of things that we're saying. So there you go. Once again, where's your freedom of speech? You can't say what you believe. You can't play videos of how you believe, everything like that. You get restricted and get taken down. I mean, that's the liberal way. That's just the way they are. They want to restrict and silence everybody that has any type of belief that doesn't belong to them. Their way. So it is what it is. We'll have TikTok back up and running eventually. Huh? July 24th, we will be live back on the air, and that is what, tomorrow? No, we won't. But anyway, only a one-day ban, so no big deal there on TikTok. I don't really use it anyway.
5,602 viewers.
5,600 viewers. 5,600 views on TikTok, Facebook. I promise you, after tonight, we will no longer. No, I'm just kidding.
You did have 1,902 likes, though.
That's what I'm saying. We're killing it over on the TikTok, even though they hate us.
I'd like to know why they reported me.
It's because probably that video had some words that they didn't like or something, which I don't really care. I mean, I've been told, and I don't care to tell my viewers that are watching right now, in the last 2.5 years, 3 years basically, that I started doing it by myself before Matthew come along, I've been told, if you say this on the air, you're going down a rabbit hole that you'll never come back out of. If you go down that rabbit hole, there's no coming back. If you say this, they'll come after you. If you cover that story, the mob is going to come after you and hunt you down and kill you and your family. And I've been told all this stuff. And it's like, the more I'm told not to do it, the more I do it. I was told not to run that story with Miles Holbrook, or I would have death threats against me and would be killed and everything, by the local mobs and everything. And it's like, okay, so what did I do? I ran the story. So it's like, when you tell me not to say something, I do it. I mean, you remember this past Halloween, me and you was getting dressed, went on the air, we was getting dressed, and we had a visitor come in the house, and he overheard us talking about what we were dressed like and what we were going to be saying about. And he actually ran out of the house and left because he said, you guys are going to have the FBI here on you, and I don't want to be here when they come after you. So, I mean, that's the things, people tell me all the time out in public, I can't believe you would say that. I can't believe you say the things you say, or you get by with the things you do. I can't believe somebody hasn't come after you. The more I'm told not to do it, the more I'm going to do it. I know Matthew's a little more lenient with things than I am because, he's still, on payroll, so he can't really say a whole lot of things.
Did you know that Blake Shelton and Luke Combs joined them also, resigned from CMT's board?
I hadn't heard that, but I don't know. I mean, I will see for sure. I don't have no confirmation on that. Blake probably will be joining us live next week, when we will be on the voice set with him.
He'll be singing Red.
Oh, Red, yeah. So, but, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, anybody that's ever, listen, mosquitoes eating the hell out of them. That's what you get for having it outside.
Well, what's sad is this, Mike, that we've come to the point where if you express your feelings and you express how you feel about a certain thing, that you got people that are on the other side of this calling you names, tell you you're crazy, and
that you're going to get killed by
you're
the
gonna
local
get killed
mob.
by the local. Listen,
I'm still here,
I would
so
hope
they haven't
that
found me, obviously.
that would never happen. I would hope that would never happen, simply because you agree to disagree. What's wrong with agree to disagree? I don't agree with everything that Joe Biden does, but at the same time, I don't sit and harp on it 24/7.
Just about 22 hours a day.
22 hours a day.
Yeah.
Give or take 2 hours. I don't.
Not too bad.
But I just it's okay to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think we've came to the point in this country where if you don't agree with a certain philosophical way of believing, then you're an outcast, and that's not the case.
Yeah. I've had every kind of person you can think of. I can't believe you talk like that. I can't believe you get by with that. I can't believe this and that. Or you better not talk. You better not air that show, or somebody's coming after you. Okay. That's just like that video of that guy. He was saying some things in the video. I'm thinking, do I really want to play that? Yep. Because it's like, If you're gonna kick me off, I'd at least be able to rather be kicked off for something like that. What the hell? Thought the Chainsaw Massacre was coming. I wish we could have the TikTok people back, and I could show them this video that I've got, because this is the streets of California right now. While your money's going to Ukraine, this is happening in the streets of our cities right now. I don't know what that guy's doing there up next to that door. But basically, you know what it is it's just a bunch of strung out drug heads, just hanging in the street corners there. And there you go. I mean, what that one say? California was what? The economy was booming out there or something?
That California and New York pretty much takes care of the red states.
Why is it like actors are moving away like this? Wade moved to Texas, Woody Harrelson moved to Texas, Scott Baio moved to Florida.
Well,
You
need not look any further than just here locally. A lot of families are moving from areas where they feel they can't raise their kids the way they want to raise them, so they're moving here. Well, too, in addition to that, probably taxes are what? Outrageous where they're living, so it's cheaper to live here, buy land, So you talk about California and the economy is booming out there. They've got their problems just like every other state. Don't let anybody tell
California, we see a lot of California. Pennsylvania, maybe. There's been some Pennsylvania people.
Montana, Colorado.
A lot of people right here in Morgan County that just randomly will come in the store or something from time to time that just pops in. And, they're not from Kentucky by the way they talk. And you're like, where are you from? They're just, we're moving here trying to get away from the cities and, trying to get away from that crap. So, I mean,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
it's economics. You come here and you can buy, you take a farm. A farm in Montana is probably, I'm going to say on average, probably $100,000, $200,000. You can come here and buy the same acreage for a lot less, if not more, in Montana.
That actually moved here from Montana. He sold his ranch there for $42 million.
He bought Kenny Witt's farm over there, the Witt farm. So he bought so there are people moving here. I mean, it's
a lot of money.
Well, I mean, I'll let you borrow it if you need to.
I need.
I'll let you borrow a couple billion. I mean, a lot of it gets sent back to my banking account when it goes to Ukraine. It fondles its way back in. But you want to explain what's going on with Plymouth here or whatever that is?
Oh, you put that on there.
You want to put that on there? I want to get some of your stuff because I feel like sometimes.
Well, you've got a movement right now in America whereby the Biden administration is trying to move towards a greener economy and a greener atmosphere. Well, flip it
on and see what it does.
That picture basically tells you that climate change has not changed. Here you got a picture of Plymouth Rock sea level in 1620 when the Pilgrims came over here, 1620. Now you got a picture of Plymouth Rock in 2022 still at sea level. So here you've got these climatologists telling you that the water level is rising and that the water temperature, core temperature of the earth is getting hotter. Well, I'm going to tell you, a lot of it depends upon when they start their data, So if basically what I'm saying is you can get caught up in this and believe whatever you want to believe. You probably the day you die will be the last day you'll be on earth. So they're telling you that.
I wish we could have been on TikTok to hear you say that. I'd have loved to hear. They'd have been like, "He's a genius."
Well, I mean, I'm not being mean when I say that. I'm just being honest. The day you die is the last day you're going to be on this earth.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, the temperature is not rising as at the levels that they're saying it is. So basically, they're promoting this to get you to kind of put fear in you, and it gets money promoted. Okay, I got a question for you. If carbon dioxide is so bad for the planet, why do greenhouse growers buy CO2 generators to double plant growth? That's a good question. Go to any greenhouse that is a kind of a global scale, and they'll have a CO2 generator to try to double their output.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I guess trees and everything benefit from
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, and I'm not, like I said, I want to live as long as I can live. And I know that the last day on earth to me is the day I die. I know that, Mike.
Didn't have to be a history teacher to know that, did
I
you?
know that.
Daggone it, I wish we still had TikTok.
They would have been impressed by already.
They would have loved that. I mean, they would have flipped completely around on that one.
But,
Now,
I
what
mean,
else do we got here that you
know,
would like to share? I mean,
know.
you sent me some other things here. What do we got here?
Oh, I sent you a picture of, I sent you that picture right there. It talks about the border, talks about deportations, illegal immigrants being sent back. And they go on and on and on about Donald Trump being a xenophobic and that he had fear of foreigners and he did not want these people coming into the United States. Well, if you look at this shows you that during the administration of Barack Obama, there were far greater numbers of people being deported, sent back than there were during the Trump administration. So basically, it's disputing everything that's being said about it.
And what do we have here?
What's that?
He's saying no. Well, here, we mentioned RFK earlier. I'm going to let you all hear a video of him talking from this speech earlier this week. So we'll go ahead and get
trusting the experts is not a function of science. It's not a function of democracy. It's a function of religion and totalitarianism, and it does not make for a healthier population.
So, I mean, there's the guy that the left is trying every way in the world to stop. Mr. RFK basically telling it like it is.
And he's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat.
And like I said,
I like the guy.
I do too.
I do.
I think he's.
I do. I like the guy, but
I honestly believe he would be a good candidate for president. I think he would probably do a great job as president.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't know if he'll ever get the Democratic nominee.
No, I don't think the left would ever allow him to ever move forward. I mean, if they left it up to the people, the actual people, I believe, there's a possibility, but I don't know if he'd ever be able to survive through that all or not. What you got on him there? You already mentioned
I just talked about how he testified, congressional testimony, and how they had basically undertook a targeted propaganda. They had censored him when he first came out, and then he announced his presidency, and now they've got what's called targeted propaganda, where they are basically calling him a racist. They're calling him an anti-vaxxer, anti-Semitic. They've applied that to him to silence him. And he is none of those things. He is up to date with all of his vaccines, with the exception of COVID.
Since you said that, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he do like research and studies and investigations into polio vaccines and all these other vaccines to try and see the connection between autism and stuff? Nothing to do with COVID vaccine.
No.
He was already doing vaccine studies and investigations a long time ago.
That's correct. There are reports out there that would substantiate that these vaccines are dangerous. There's probably reports out there that say that they are safe and effective.
Michelle says his own family's against him. Which is that's about right. I mean, they don't want him to stand out for what the left is for, and he's standing out against it, and they don't want that. I mean,
like his uncle and his daddy.
You had mentioned this guy earlier. Rand Paul says Dr. Fauci has officially been referred to the DOJ this week for prosecution for repeatedly lying under oath during congressional testimony. And you had mentioned Rand Paul earlier.
As soon as he referred Dr. Fauci to the DOJ in the wee hours of the morning, his local office in Bowling Green was destroyed. A fire was set, and it destroyed not only his business, his local office, but there's a law firm there as well, and a T-shirt business that were completely destroyed because he basically called for Dr. Fauci, who for many years was the expert upon which we based all of our medical expertise. He was the highest paid employee in the federal government, $417,000. And what he basically told us, there are various reports that will substantiate that he lied, that he did not tell the truth.
Yeah, I like Rand Paul. Last week we talked about, was it Miss Netherlands, that selected a man, transgender man, as their Miss Netherlands pageant. Miss Italy actually chose a woman, and the Miss Italy pageant actually banned transgenders from competing, saying that competitors must be a woman from birth. That move obviously came just weeks after Miss Netherlands was won by a man. And there you see Miss Italy, an actual woman winning the crown there. I wanted to bring that up. Then I'm going to jump back. I'm trying to get through some of these pictures and stuff real quick. You were talking about, since we're talking transgenders, you were talking about Dr. Fauci. I don't accept science from people who claim a man can be a woman. So, I wanted to throw that one out there. We were talking about vaccines just moments ago. So let me pull this back up here real fast. Here's where we'll get banned probably, but who cares? New study of the CDC data suggests that COVID vaccines caused a shocking 338 times increase in cancer and AIDS associated diseases. So I see that I had another COVID. Did I have another one? The daughter of Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccination executive has died suddenly following a bout with seizures. So couldn't imagine what happened there. Every single woman should refuse to participate in any contests or sporting event with a man in it. Believe me, almost everyone is sick and tired of this insane bullshit. I'm trying to get through some of my stuff. Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, people's just tired of it. People's fed up with it. I mean, me and Matthew are called conspiracy theorists. So, what do I like to do when you call us conspiracy theorists? I wish that I still had my TikTok people, but I don't. I give you conspiracy theory realism. Starting next week, the name of next week's show will be called Conspiracy Realist, because that's what we are. We take your conspiracy theories and we turn them around. Does anybody remember Joan Rivers? You remember Joan?
I do.
Well, she was asked this question. It's got a video here, and then it's going to get us into her weekly conspiracy theory. I'm going to let Joan tell us what the conspiracy theory actually is.
Mr. Rivers, how are you? You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I am so excited.
Yeah.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
So Joan Rivers came out and said what we've talked about on the show before about the former First Lady being a transgender. So let's pull up a few pictures of, man, what is it? Ace Ventura says she's suffering from something there. There's something going on there. Don't you be looking, Matthew. As I know at one point in time you had a poster hanging on your wall.
Well, Michelle Obama is a viable candidate for the Democratic nominee.
TikTokers were saying Michelle Obama 2024.
Yeah, she could very well be a viable candidate for the Democratic Party.
Well, yeah, maybe she can take her weenie and.
Technically, would that be official though? If you go by Michael LaVaughn Robinson or Michelle Obama, so which one would it have to be for be technical?
Now you're
and legal? It's called
You-
True Sex.
Starting next week, live on Friday night, you will have the Mark Show called Conspiracy Theorists, not only with Jesse Ventura, but it will be with Mark. So,
Which one's legal?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just, it don't.
I don't know the answer to that.
Anybody want to keep going with conspiracy theories? I'm glad you did. I'm glad you want to. I got another one for you.
Did you see where Michelle Obama's mom died, though, and said she left her inheritance to her son, Michael Robinson?
Michael Robinson. Look him up.
There's
You know,
saw it.
that's what I'm saying.
Shit, seriously.
We will definitely be kicked off of YouTube. That's fine. You want to really be kicked off of YouTube? I'm going to continue to go on with conspiracy theories. So here we go.
You're kind of out there tonight.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. On the right, you have Joseph R. Biden, who served under the Barack Obama regime. On the left, you have Joseph R. Biden that currently serves the country. Only difference is that don't look like the same guy to me. Does it you guys? Let me know. I see some people
One of
here.
them, he looks like Bob Uecker in that picture. You knew
I mean,
Bob
seriously,
Uecker?
you can't. That's not
Yeah.
the same guy.
Bob
I
Uecker,
mean,
Baseball Hall of Fame.
and I'm going to pull up another picture here. I mean, everybody wants us to be conspiracy theorists. Does that look the same? Now, the one on the right, I remember being Joe Biden. That's the one I remember. You know, this other guy here, you know, I don't remember him. I'm hoping somebody will give us some. Here's another one here. Original Biden, Dopey Biden, Grandpa Biden, and what does that one say? Palapalin Meth Biden. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. If you put them side by side, the left side in these pictures is, you know, Biden himself. And then over here you have, obviously, the guy from, what was the movie? Poltergeist. You know, you had the weird, creepy guy from the Poltergeist movies over here in the bottom
You're
corner.
making me feel old. You're going back to old movies.
You
That's
know?
like a 1980s classic.
You know, and if you've ever,
like a little kid when that movie.
if you've ever watched, you know, Biden give a speech, he looks different every time. You know, it don't look right. There's something missing from him at all times, and it just, you know, I don't understand it. Thursday night, the Garrett Show. So all the shows are growing, people. Conspiracy as of right now, we're gonna get, maybe we get Larry to go Wednesday night. You know, the Deborah Show airs on Tuesday nights, and then everybody's favorite, the Melina Show. You actually have to be a sponsor of Wild Turkey to be able to. Jim Beam, Crown Royal.
Yeah, that'll work.
Crown Royal, you have to be a Jameson. You have to be a sponsor. You have to, you know. I always had a wonder about Melina, which it always kind of freaked me out because I knew she was a big Louisville fan, and I thought she was a Louisville Cardinal fan until I spent 2 weeks in Louisville a couple of months ago. Every step, every block that you come to is a liquor store, or a distillery, or a tasting refinery, and I'm like, it never was about the Cardinals. It was about the alcohol all along. Now it makes sense. I mean, hell, you couldn't walk into a little restaurant. McDonald's was serving alcohol there, and it's like, it makes sense, you know? So now I don't have to worry about her anymore because I know it's not the Louisville Cardinals, it's the Louisville distilleries. Makes sense now. She's got a shirt on that says Mama Needs Wine right now, so I mean, at least it don't have Louisville Cardinals on it. I guess we'll be all right. Let's see what we got here. We live in an era of stupidity where parents teach their children it's okay to think they're a cat or a dog, wear a pet collar, leash, and use a litter box. Oh, man. The furries. It's been a while since we've had a furry talk, but yeah, I figure as the school years go on in all these school districts, that's just going to continue to keep coming up, being more and more. I don't know if I have any furries.
I think they've kind of died down with that and kind of pushed the transgender.
Yeah, the transgender thing has kind of grown. Mark just brought up a hellacious topic, though. Everybody want to see something really cool, really disturbing? You might want to turn your cameras off, and if you're watching with children, have them walk out of the room. You remember I showed you guys videos of what was happening with these trans that are wanting to be one thing or another. Well, This is what trans women that are wanting to be men are doing. They're cutting skin off of their arms and their legs, and this is what they're creating with it. So brace yourselves because it's going to be whatever. Matthew, close your eyes. Here we go. Now, that thing that just popped up on your screen has no function. You can't be sexually aroused. You can't urinate through it. You're cutting skin. I mean, if you've seen these pictures, they're cutting skin down to the bone off their arms to basically make penises, to make themselves look like men. That's what these women are doing. And I actually had another video of a man that's actually chopped his stuff off to make a vagina, but I don't have it on here because it's a little more graphic than the Gigantor there that people are actually loving. I've got Miss Wine over here actually loving every second of that. So might have to send that to her on the side. Sorry, Mama, Melina's mom there, she's going crazy over that picture. And you're in trouble because you got caught. I'm sorry, Lola, she doesn't drink. She doesn't do any of that stuff. None of that stuff. She was drinking Dr. Pepper the last time I seen her. She don't do any of that stuff. Flaming Dr. Pepper, Mark saying, yeah. All right, so we're going to get the gigantic wiener off of our screen. Anybody think this kid belongs to Donald Trump? That's Barron Trump. That's the youngest of the Trump kids. You think he looks like he's no man?
Looks like he's about 6'8" or 6'9".
He's a monster.
He's a big
monster.
old boy.
I actually, you don't know it yet, but I'll go ahead and tell you on the air. I have a call to Donald Trump to try to get Barron Trump at Bath County High School for you.
God, mighty. He about 6'8", 6'9". He big old boy.
So that means Donald Trump will be in the crowd during the Bath County High School games. Well, you got any tickets available?
Yeah, dude, I got high security. That gym will be well fortified. Don't have to worry.
No, Mama, she is not drinking. She doesn't do that. That was a made-up story that I made up, just for show purposes to get more viewers. She doesn't go to Louisville. She don't even know where Louisville is. She doesn't like it. She's a Kentucky.
Barron Trump's not. You don't see Barron Trump very often in the news.
It's very rare that you see him out or anything.
They gotta keep him behind the scenes, kind of letting him try to live a normal life, not in the media's presence, not out there in the forefront.
I know this is going to bother you.
What's that?
But Mitt Romney is threatening to join the Democrat Party.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's like, he's already a Democrat. He basically sides with them anyway, so go on, buddy. We don't need you anyway. I mean, it ain't like you're going to hurt our feelings. I'm trying to get through all this stuff as quickly as I can. As you notice, our lighting system here tonight, is all rigged up. Actually, you can see us on screen. Give it about 20 more minutes, there'll be a million bugs flying around here, though. But I wasn't sure if we need to put them there. I had them a little closer to us, but I didn't want to blind us. But it looks like we're showing up pretty decent on camera, so I think this might be able to work out all right. Sometimes I have to read what the heck I'm clicking on before I click on it, but it says, "You're not wearing a mask. That puts me and my family at risk." The other guy says, your obedience to elite pedophiles, criminal government, pharma cartel, corrupt media, and dark agenda puts my family and myself at risk. So there you go.
There was a
That's
chain,
on your screen.
There was a chain this past week. I'm trying to think what it was. That came out and stated that their employees would never wear a mask in the near future. If there was a future pandemic, their employees would not be subjected to wearing a mask because they felt like the mask alienated their employees from their consumers. They didn't get to see their smile. They didn't get to see their interaction. What was it? In-N-Out Burger. That's what it was. In-N-Out Burger. No longer will ever wear, according to
sounds like an
their
interesting
CEOs, they will not subject their employees to wear masks in the near future.
Think they might have one of them in Louisville?
I don't know.
I wanted you to check this out. This kind of goes along with the Sound of Freedom. In 1852, the Democrats condemned Uncle Tom's Cabin because it exposed slavery, which I'm sure you've heard of Uncle Tom. 2023, the Democrats condemn Sound of Freedom because it exposed child sex trafficking. Times change. Democrats don't. And that is true. Larry is actually leaving the building. He is going home to get prepared for his show, which is going to air what night? Wednesday night? Tuesday, Thursday? Whatever night? Wednesday.
Larry Legend.
The Larry Legend Show with Mike Leach. No, Mike Leach died, didn't he? You'll have Tom Leach then. You'll be on the John Calipari Show. I'm trying to get through a lot of these pictures so we can get a lot of things knocked off. I think this one will be a big one. I'd like to see Jason Aldean at the Super Bowl halftime show with special guests Kid Rock and Ted Nugent. You know, Tom McDonald, they probably kill him before he got in there, but I would like to see it. And somebody earlier today, actually, I read it to Deborah before, we started the show. Someone suggested that they do a Jason Aldean Kid Rock USA tour. Now, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Jason Aldean actually was in Cincinnati last night, wasn't it? Or not? No, Friday night, wasn't it?
Jason Aldean was in concert, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. When the mass shooting took place out in Las Vegas, he was performing when that shooter opened up fire and killed multiple people there at Las Vegas.
Yeah, Jason Aldean. I mean, it wasn't last night. It was Friday night. He was at Riverbend in Cincinnati. I said, boy, I wish I could have had tickets to that, especially after this past week and everything's gone. I'm at that place, which I saw videos. He stopped during the show and, gave a speech. I mean, he was tearing into them.
Well, I saw a local person here in the county had went to that venue, and it posted a video where Jason Aldean gave a public announcement that, basically said this song is getting a lot of negative notoriety right now. If you think I'm not going to sing it, well, you're crazy. He sung the song, and like I said, it goes back to particular taste and individualism, what you like. If you don't want to listen to it, just turn the channel. Just turn it off. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to be supportive of it. You're allowed and entitled in this country to believe the way you want to believe. You don't have to participate in something, but you don't have to cancel it for the people that want to.
Yeah.
Just because certain people in the audience love to listen to rap and I don't, it's okay. I support you. You listen to rap. I got no problem with that. I'm just not going to do it myself. But it is what it is.
Which we talked about this earlier. It says Representative Jim Banks calling for the impeachment of Joe Biden over extensive evidence of a $10 million bribe paid to the Biden family by Ukrainian energy tycoon. But I mean, we talked about that moments ago.
Well, when you start talking about that stuff, Mike, I think a lot of people, and I don't mean this being mean, I think a lot of people don't know what's going on in this country behind the scenes in these congressional judiciary committee meetings and these hearings with these whistleblowers coming forward and impeachment charges being brought forth against not only Merrick Garland, but you got Chris Wray, you've got Joe Biden because of corruption. And I'm not saying it's true because I don't know all the facts, but I do know that is out there. So if it's out there, there's potential for it to be true. Well, the one thing I would tell you in life is this: if you want to know if somebody's involved in corruption, follow the money.
You remember Larry Elder that ran for the governor out in California? He says that he believes that Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Hillary Clinton, and AOC will be criminally indicted. So I mean, there's a lot of talk going around. But I mean,
But the mainstream media, ABC News, NBC, CBS, CNN, they don't talk about that. But they talk about Trump being indicted, being the centerpiece of the January 6th insurrection, and that he possibly be indicted. You hear that, but why are you not hearing this on the other side? If that is going on, the American people deserve the right, Mike, to know what's going on. They deserve the right to the truth. It will set you free, baby.
What did Karl Marx once said? That said, accuse your opponent of doing what you're doing while you're doing it to confuse people?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know what the heck this is. I had so many notes mixed up from last week to this week. But we know for a fact that Obama flew $65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza for a private White House party using clandestine channels. Does that sound right? We also know, thanks to WikiLeaks emails, that the FBI has identified hot dogs and pizza as being what kind of code words? Pedophile. You know, and just like we talked about yesterday, me and some people talked about yesterday, none of this crap started until Obama took office. When Obama took office, all this, everything, all the craziness from the Aldine stuff, the Sound of Freedom stuff, all this stuff started going crazy. I mean, it's just everybody's got crazy for some reason, and like I said, it's a dangerous world we live in right now, and I don't know.
Clown world, we got
It's not dangerous. You live in the suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. If we've got any people watching right now that wasn't watching about an hour ago when we were streaming live on TikTok, we had people on TikTok actually telling us that we lived in the suburbs, that we were out here in the suburbs, and I'm like, does that look like the suburbs? It's like I don't know what kind of suburbs I'm supposed to be living in, but I guess so. What else do we got here that we can throw up on the screen real fast? We were talking about approval ratings earlier. Here's you some approval ratings. Vladimir Putin has 81% approval rating. Joe Biden, this says 41, so it's probably old. I don't even know who the heck that even is. That's the Canada guy.
That's Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau's 40%.
That is the British Prime Minister.
31%, and I can't see who some of these people are.
I can see who they are. I might be able to tell you.
I can't tell who they are, but well.
I got mad eyes.
This is definitely the truth right here. It's got a guy that says, went to the moon, took 5 pictures. Went to the bathroom, took 105 pictures. So, just wanted to throw that one on there. That's something fun. But I'm just trying. I've got a bunch of these old pictures and stuff on here that I've had on here for a while. I'm just trying to get a lot of stuff off of this thing. That way we can start adding new content and everything. Because between now and next week, we don't have a clue what's going to happen. The only thing that I had to say about Jason Aldean last week that I didn't get to talk about was because he had a heat stroke on stage a few nights before then and actually had to run off stage having a heat stroke, and they actually had to cancel the event, and it would be made up. So days later, this song hits the charts or whatever, and now he's right back, up in arms and bigger than ever at this point. You got anything else to add tonight? Well, like I said, we do appreciate everybody watching. When it comes to the stuff going on locally here, it kind of gets under my skin a little bit knowing that, the Tourism Commission and committee and whatever, is trying to get people brought in here to have things for people to do in this county, different genres of music, different things. And then we've got, the cancel culture cults, basically over here trying to get everything stopped, making up stories, telling people in the county that there's drag queen shows are coming and everything like that, trying to get people not to attend these events. I think it's a disgrace that, people want to see good for Morgan County. People want to see good for all of our surrounding counties. But, Morgan County in particular, when the tornado hit in 2012, this county came together. No matter what your religion was, no matter what your political party were, everybody came together and worked together to put everything back together and be there for each other and help everybody. And now here we are, divided more than ever. You have a band coming in that, people didn't like, and then they cut a shine about it. Now they're trying to stop everything else. So, hopefully hopefully everything will be able to be worked out there and everything will go good. Everybody will be able to attend those events and everything, because this county needs something for people to do. I mean, it really
August
does.
26th, I'll plug this in there. The Tourism Committee, along with the Table Tennis Association Club here in Morgan County, has secured the state games, table tennis, August 26th. The Kentucky State Games table tennis is going to be held here in Morgan County. So that's going to bring in people to Morgan County and promote tourism. The tourism is going to promote that and get out and do things.
Let's make sure I ain't got anybody messaging me wanting to say anything here.
I had somebody message me about it last night, and I told them I'd plug it, and I'll find out more details. And when I get more details, I will convey
August
that.
the 11th, which, we'll be back on before then, but August the 11th, I think it's a Friday night, is the Live on the Licking, where they're going to have some other bands and some things going on. So, anybody that don't have any plans for that night, try to be there for that. I'm trying to think of some local things. I know we've got a rodeo coming up. Is that in October? So we'll be able to plug that one a little bit more as it comes closer. There is talks. I don't have a whole lot of details about it right now. You heard me mention earlier about a movie being shown in West Liberty. The screen's ready to go. The projector's ready to go. Just got to wait and see there. But at the same time, cornhole tournament. They're looking at putting in a cornhole tournament at Outback. I don't have a lot of details right now. It's just something that's, just been started to going into the works. But, trying to get people, the swimming pools that was shut down this year, closed down, trying to get things to get people involved, to get things going in this community. So we're trying to put together a cornhole tournament, the movie projector and the screen's ready to go. I mean, so basically, once we find out what movies will be played and what nights those will be, we'll try to get all that stuff out to everybody. We're working together with other people and other companies and other local businesses to try to do things, try to get the word out. Try to get people together. I mean, like it was, in 2012 when people come together to help each other. If there's anybody watching that knows anything else, local that's going on that we ain't mentioning or whatever, let me know and we'll mention it, while we still got a few minutes here, or I can get it next week. Like I said, I know the rodeo and stuff still a little while away, but we'll try to plug that stuff. Sorghum Festival is still coming up still a little bit out. I don't know. That's about all I can think of. I don't know of anything else too local right now, but I try to keep up with the local stuff, and we will be having the small business episode, I guess, eventually. Seems like we've been saying that now for 3 months, and but we're still trying to get all that stuff worked out, and work schedules and stuff have changed and alternated. I mean, everybody watches this show probably thinks one month you're on Wednesday nights, and next month you're on a Saturday night, then you're Sunday, then you're Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're all over the place, so we don't ever know what night you're going to do what. I mean, I try to do the small talk, local business talk, which I've been using this platform to do it too, because it's getting the word out there, and to do my local stuff. But I try to do that on Fridays. We're going to see if anybody's got anything else going on here. I don't see anything else, but like I said, I do appreciate everybody watching tonight. I mean, it's been fun. We hit a few notes. Got to get everybody out of here a little bit earlier. Last week is about 10:30 on a Sunday night before we got out of here, and most people that had to drag to work the next morning probably wasn't too happy with us. But that come back to get us, so that's why we decided to do 7 o'clock tonight. And if you watched early, you noticed we were sitting here with sweat beading off of our heads, and now we've got the lights on. But I do appreciate everybody watching. Everybody take care. Have a good week. Stay safe. We'll be back here next weekend. As far as I know, like I said, you'll see sometime later in the week. I'll go ahead and have the link posted up and ready to go. And, we'll be right here to bring you the latest news and stories and craziness, and be back next week. We'll actually hopefully not get banned on TikTok, and we'll be able to fight with people a little bit more. That was kind of fun.
From the suburbs.
Yeah, we're right here from the suburbs of Candle City, Kentucky. I thank you all for watching. Everybody take care. Have a good night, and we will talk to you guys next week. Thank you.
1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents, 4. We get less in